The Druids recently got hit with one of the biggest nerfs, losing nearly 50% of their healing and tanking. So are they completely useless now? Actually, no. Despite popular belief, Druids are in fact not useless after their nerf, as they are still very strong, but they require more skill. For an easier healing option, many, including myself, recommend healers. However, Druids can still shine in strategies like Super Witches or even their own mass Druid attacks, but they now demand better execution. The Druids are still a strong healer thanks to their uncapped healing, unlike healers who heal troops and heroes differently. Under a rage spell or rage gem, the Druids will also provide even more healing than that of a healer. Plus, they aren't vulnerable to Seeking Air Mines or red air bombs, though their healing duration is shorter. To work around the Druid's 25-second limit, deploy them one at a time rather than spamming two at once. You want to be sure to offset each Druid's timer to maintain healing throughout the attack. This surgical approach maximizes their value, letting them complement other Druids as you move deeper into the base, or with healers from the healer puppets later in the attack. Additionally, the bears are much less tanky now, but that's actually a good thing since they're still a decent tank that can absorb damage, allowing the Druids to focus on healing your troops and heroes sooner. If the bears die faster, Druids can heal more important units instead of healing the Druids in their bear form. So with this knowledge, how does this fare up with other armies like Super Witches, Electro Titans, or even the Mass Druid? So let's start with the Mass Druid, as this is an army filled with the post-nerf Druids, and they're actually still very good. Overall, you want to make sure that you are using the Fireball in order to set up a funnel and create some nice pathing. In this case, we're getting some great value from the Fireball, removing the CC, Monolith, and other key defenses in the process. Notice how we are using one Druid though. This is going to allow us to keep some nice healing with the Unicorn, and it keeps it at 100% effectiveness. We're also going to use the Siege Barrack on the other side in order to set the funnel and push in with our heroes, and then this is really where we're timing our Druids. We're offsetting them every so often to keep the healing going. Since they're always underneath the Rage Gem, you're always getting value. As you continue to place more every so often, the Rage spell placement is going to be very important, as you want to keep them underneath Rage, keeping them healing, and they're going to be doing massive healing as you offset them. With those Rage spells in hand, they're going to do massive work, as you've got the Earthquake Boots and the Spiky Ball from your Barbarian King to open up the core, and you could even use a couple with either the Siege Barrack to provide support, or even the Royal Champion as she clears other defenses like the Town Hall. Other than that, once you get closer to the back end, you should have the healer puppets from your Queen to provide some really nice support, while still sprinkling in the Druids to add additional healing to those that aren't being hit by the healers. Overall, you will be able to more often than not 3-star with this, as it's going to keep the healing momentum moving, and of course the Druids are still going to be within bear form, providing cleanup and tanking, which is entirely what you want. So if this troop is useless to you, it really isn't, because it is still fantastically strong in something like Mass Druid. Now, what about Super Witches, a strategy that really was dominated with the use of Druids? Well, they're actually still viable. You're still going to use the Fireball to remove value or pathing. In this case, we're able to remove a remarkable amount of stuff by just targeting the Monolith. Surprisingly, I was not expecting to hit the Eagle, but for the most part, we're using a Druid in order to do a little Warden Walk, since there aren't too many defenses around there. Other than this, we're going to set the funnel on the other side with a Siege Barrack and a couple Giants to tank, and then we're going to use our Queen to lure over, the King in order to help move in by setting the funnel on the other side, and using the Super Witches to start powering in with the Super Wall Breaker to help. Of course, you do want to make sure that you are surgically placing in the Druids. Offsetting their healing is really important. it. This way you can get great value with an early rage spell as they're staying within that rage as you continue to work in. So even though we didn't have the Barbarian King move in with our army, it's completely fine. The Druids are still providing enough healing, and we're gonna be able to easily move through the town hall. This is really giving us a large boost where we can have the Druids help the Royal Champion and the other CC troops, and we want to continuously use rage spells to provide support for our Druids as they work around. Keeping everything within that rage gem is super essential, and the healing from the Druids and even the healer puppets is a great combo, especially towards the back end. So the Druids are still providing support even though the healers are there. But overall, the Super Witches really aren't affected by the Druid nerf, and you could still run them for great success. As long as you're just offsetting their timer, they're going to do a lot of work for you. This way you have some form of cleanup to help clear the outside buildings and allow you to safely get a 3-star. Another type of army that uses a lot of them is the Electro Titans, and they're still very good even after the Druid nerf. Overall, you're going to be using the giant arrow to actually set a funnel, which is definitely great, especially since we want to clear one side with our Archer Queen, and the other side we want to clear with the Siege Barrack. This is going to establish two sides of our funnel to work right through the middle. It's super important for us to be able to get great value from something like this because Electro Titans don't have the same strengths as the Super Witches since they're a melee unit. But for the most part, they take full advantage of the Rage Gem and of course with the Druids. But again, we want to offset the Druids' healing. It is super important to do this in order to maintain as much healing as possible as we go deeper into the core. What is nice about this is having a jump spell to get in alongside having the Eternal Tome is going to protect everything as we work in. Of course, in this situation, I do drop in 2 at a time, but I do offset them. So it's still very important to offset the Druids as you work through. I know I'm saying this a lot, but it's going to help you in the long run. Of course, you just want to make sure that you're using the Earthquake Boots to open up a large area and have a jump spell at the ready to provide even more support for some of your Electro Titans. Other than this, you'll have a Royal Champion working on the back end, possibly with another Druid in order to provide support, but overall, you will be able to swiftly still move through as the Druids are still providing amazing healing and realistically don't have any major downsides, unlike healers where a Seeking Air Mine or red air bombs could be in a given area. While the Druids do have that timer, the workaround of just delaying them a little bit each and every time is definitely very ideal, and you can still 3-star quite consistently with the use of Druids. If you still need help with 3-starring with Super Witches, I heavily recommend my ultimate guide right here.